Leon Fock, who is the CEO of Terra Holland. And Terra Holland is a market leader in the production of organic fertilizers. And in his role, also Leon is the chairman of EUROFEMA, the European Organic Fertilizer Manufacturers Association. So welcome, Leon, and thank you for joining us. And then you just feel free to click yourself through.
Okay, thank you very much for the invite. And for the question you asked me, will organic fertilizers or bio-based fertilizers develop from niche to norm? To start with that, what is an organic fertilizer? Because I don't think you can answer this in general. And I'll try to find a few axes how we could assess if this development from niche to norm is realistic or not. And I have one problem: there are no data in Europe available on all these categories. So a lot of educated guesses today. That's one. Very quick on EUROFEMA, European Organic Fertilizer Manufacturers Association. That is an association of associations, so of European countries associations, representing other associations in Brussels. And we were actually founded in Venice, so just a short while from here in 2007. And we had one goal: we wanted European legislation for organically based fertilizers, which we almost have, but it took 15 plus years. We have DAL from Belgium, Unifarm from France, IFAG from Germany, BMA from Holland. We have FOMA from Spain in there. So I'll look at this question from a few axes, from a category point of view, because you cannot put bio-based fertilizers in one bin. So there's a lot of different products in there. From a supply side, so where are those raw materials coming from? Who wants those fertilizers? Can the industry cope with this movement from niche to norm? And I'll try to wrap that up and show the impact by category of markets. Let's get with organic fertilizer. I'll do a quick categorization. So we have unprocessed organic materials, basically manure, for example. They are bio-based fertilizers. They work very well, and they are used a lot. Unprocessed from farm to field, huge amount, actually very good fertilizers. Then we get to the processed single source fertilizer. So if you process a manure by sterilizing it or drying it, you start making a fertilizer product, and you can keep it, you can ship it, you can sell it. So it starts to become a product from a single source. For example, a dried processed digest could be a single source. The next group is the NPK fertilizer. So then we start making products, mixing several raw materials into an NPK plus fertilizer, 777 or something like that. And the next group is adding something to it, making those fertilizers more efficient. And we call it more complex NPK bio-based fertilizers. So if we put something out of the last presentation to a processed NPK fertilizer and use it on the right crop in the right timing, I just learned, then we have the perfect fertilizer for the industry. On the right, you see the classification used by the European Statistical Institute or something like that. They try to validate data on that classification, which is totally useless in our case. So don't look there. Okay, we have these categories. Where do they get their raw materials from? And here we see a classic issue, a classic approach. If we have an organic material, we first want to eat it, and so we use it as food. Then if we can't eat it ourselves, we'll feed it to our animals. First, we feed it to production animals, and even if that's not possible, we feed it to our pets. And if we can't feed it, we used to say we use it as a fertilizer. But the last few years, we got a new category which came in there, which is very bad for some of our businesses. That's called energy. So we now start to make biogas and burn wood and do all types of stuff with actually perfect material for fertilizers. But in current market situations, those three categories bring more money to the table than a fertilizer in general. So the organic business has quite some high competition on the organic matters they need to make fertilizers. So if you ask me from a supply side, from niche to norm, okay, if we have a lot of sun energy and wind energy and we stop with all those biogas systems, we might have room to grow. But if I look at current raw material markets, which are already niche, they are already divided amongst those who need it. From a supply side point of view, I'm not pessimistic about the market though, so don't get me wrong. Let's look at the demand side, from niche to norm where. So we have mainstream agriculture. And what do we do in mainstream agriculture? We use as much unprocessed organic biobase as allowed. And then if we need more, we use mineral fertilizer. Very sound strategy, brought us a lot of well-doing in the world, feeds a lot of mass. Then we of course have the market of organic agriculture. And the choice there is very easy. You can't use mineral fertilizers. So you use circular processes as close around your production site. And then if you need the fertilizer, you need an organic fertilizer. So if you ask me, what is a market where niche to norm is already there, it's organic agriculture. That's not because they want it, but that's because of regulation. So it's a very regulatory driven market. Then we have special agriculture and horticulture. So now we get into the expensive crops and flowers and greenhouse growing. And that's a market where interesting things start to happen. If I take, for example, crops that are sold in supermarkets, some want to have those organic, and then you can say, okay, we add an organic fertilizer. Ornamental is everything which looks nice and you put into your garden. We have landscaping and turf, so that is everything where you play golf on and football, and where you walk through in the park. And we have the hobby markets. If we would look at value, so how much could you charge per ton to make it very easy, go from below to above. So hobby market, if you buy a box of rose fertilizer in a garden center, that costs you €7.95 per kilo, so that's 7,000 euro something per ton, which is a lot more than you can ask for an unprocessed manure, where you probably get 18 euros a ton. So there's a wide range between those markets. So demand side, always try to look for which market are we talking about. Then our industry, we are small, medium enterprises. More small, some medium, but that's the market. We did estimate about the volume they can produce today, and that's in the hundreds of thousands of tons, but not in the millions of tons. So if you want to make that from niche to a norm, that industry would need a large scale. So let's given we solve this supply side issue, you basically need to build a lot of factories in Europe, or enlarge factories. And who will put in the money? So there's a question mark, how fast can the industry adopt? And it's not a question of converting a mineral fertilizer factory into an organic fertilizer. So there are low capacities relative to the total market of fertilization. They're quite diverse. They act local in general. So we have these pop-and-mom shops that make an organic fertilizer and sell in the region. And then, of course, we have the impact of FPR in the industry. The industry was really it couldn't really grow fast because it was very difficult, and it's still very difficult, to sell an organic fertilizer from one European country to another. And try to sell, somebody from Spain here in the audience? No, so I can talk about that. Try to sell an organic fertilizer in Spain from Germany, it will take you 5 years to get it in, if you're lucky. But FBR will change that, so we'll make the business case better to increase the size of the industry. Because the market is growing now, so it's becoming a single market, so it makes more sense to invest in the industry. So now we looked at supply side, demand side. So yes, there's supply, but it could be an issue. Yes, we have demand that differs per market. No, we don't have the industry side yet, but there is industry, and FBR is opening the market and changing the business case. So I'll try to wrap that up. Will a bio-based fertilizer become a norm for the fertilizer products? And okay, let's put a time scale in there within the next 10 years. I'm very bad at forecasting the next year, but let's take next year. So will it become norm for agriculture? Unprocessed, yes, it already is, but processed organic fertilizer, I don't expect. The current strategy of using soil improvers which are unprocessed and controlling your crop with mineral fertilizers is very effective. And we will get rid of some of the problems of leaching of nutrients. Organic fertilizers, organic agriculture, of course, yes, because no choice. Especially like in horticulture and ornamental, there are some markets where people will like to have a plant in their garden which never saw any chemical in its life. So yes, in ornamental you will find some of those organic fertilizers, and sometimes even from an agricultural point of view, they help to improve your soil, so it helps. Landscaping and turf, moving very fast at markets. If you go to Barcelona and the stadium is called Camp Nou, they have a very green stadium and it's very green managed, so they use organic fertilizers there. Lots of golf places in Europe, they want to manage their golf place in a green way, so they use organic or organically based fertilizer. So it will be mainstream for those markets. And let's say in the hobby market, that discussion has been gone. That's a no-brainer. We even get the legislation in some countries in Europe to ban the mineral fertilizers. So for the next 10 years, from niche to norm, in some markets, yes. It will be hard to keep it the pace. My last time, and I'm in time, I think. So we have no real data, sorry for that, because there's only one statistical number for this whole group, 3101000. So we have no subdivision in that. Using unprocessed organic material locally is, of course, still the first best choice. We don't put energy in there. Supply side will not adapt to, yes, fast-growing demand side. So we see that demand side, but we have this competition with energy. So demand will most probably exceed supply. So the answer to the question said at the beginning, yes, for some markets, some situations, but not for all mainstream fertilizers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leon. So encouraging thoughts, still a number of challenges and obstacles to overcome. And we hope to be part of the solution going forward together. So thank you very much. We'll see you back on the panel. So Leon is like Adriano, part of our advisory board at SUSFERT. We're looking at these larger pictures, policy pictures, and looking at ways to move forward to indeed turn the organic fertilizer market from niche to norm.